ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Leslie Ricklin as Victoria Woodhull.
Thank you so much for Mrs. York. That was a lovely introduction. Yes, I'm Victoria Claflin Woodhall. I come from New York City, and the year is 1872. So for me, the Gettysburg Address is just a mere 9 years ago. President Lincoln's assassination was 7 years ago, when that dastardly deed was done by that coward John Wilkes Booth, and left us this wonderful legacy of freedom and equality. And that's why I thought I would be here today, because you probably have to look at my button a little bit more closely, but I am the first woman to run for President of the United States in 1872. My party is the Equal Rights Party, and my running mate, vice presidential candidate, is Mr. Frederick Douglass, the former slave and great orator. You may have heard of him. So we stand for equality, for women's rights, for women's equality, and suffrage for women. And for this, I am called the terrible siren, the Mrs. Satan, but you may also call me candidate for President of the United States. So I feel very proud to be here to recite the Gettysburg Address, a speech which I find perfect in every way except for maybe one, and I am going to enhance that speech with two little words, which you will probably note in the very beginning. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men and women are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field. We have come to the field to dedicate a portion. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as the final resting place for those who fought here that nation might live and gave their lives. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do so. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The great men, living and dead, who fought here, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is for us, rather, to be dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you very much.